Is your brother better at cutting hair than you, you'd say? Or
Yeah.
What do you what makes you say that? What makes him better?
He's a perfectionist
Oh.
when it comes to hair.
Okay.
Like, I'll go back to the story when we were young. We had sticker books.
Okay.
So I would get the sticker books, and we would both have a sticker book because we're 7 years apart. So you got to figure, if I was 6 and I had a sticker book, he was 13. Still liked sticker books, you know what I mean? I would open up my sticker books, and they used to have like 4 stickers you had to line up. Mine were all like, I didn't care. I just put them on. He would like sit there and like match it up perfect. So even though they're all rectangles, back then, sometimes the borders were cut different. It was cut different. And he was better at lining it up. Even if the borders didn't line up, he would line up the picture. And I always look at that as like how like much of a perfectionist he was. And the other thing I could tell you, that any barber, anybody that watches him cut hair will come up to me while we were working together and say, your brother cuts great hair. And this is coming from professionals. And I'm not saying this to big up my brother or anything, but they would come up to me and say to me straight up, your brother can go work on Yorkville. He could charge $100 a haircut, and people would come back. And it's just the way he is. He's just that kind of person. At times we say simpatico, which he's like, just you wanna hug him. He's a nice guy. There's not a bad bone in his body. You know what I mean? And I think you can attest to that as well.
I can attest to that 100%.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You know what I mean?
Great guy.
He's got his faults too. Don't get me wrong. But you know what I mean? Yeah. When it comes to cutting hair, when he makes the line, like everything, it's perfect. And what solidified it for me, I always thought that he was better than me. What solidified it for me was when other barbers, like old men, we had an old barber with us that was 84, 85 years old, would tell me, your brother cuts good hair. Or we'd go to another salon, and when we rented those chairs at Islington and Dixon, and the salon people in the back would be like, your brother cuts good hair. And it was like, if these people all are professionals and they're telling me this, it's got to be true. And not to say it, I cut good hair as well. I'm not going to say I don't cut good hair. I don't cut hair well, but it's the way he does it. He's just, even when he cuts my hair, I'm more like, okay, I'm going to be straight up with you. I'm more money. I want money. In and out. Get out. You know what I mean? Happy haircut, that's fine. You know what I mean? I take my time too. But my brother just, it's the little nuances that he does that just set him apart. And I'm telling you, I've told him he could go somewhere downtown and work and charge $100, and businessmen and executives would come to him and pay him. Because when people leave, usually the haircut's bang on. You know what I mean? It's just that sometimes it used to take a long time. And that's the problem, right? Some people don't want to waste an hour. You know what I mean? They want to be out of there in half an hour. But yeah, he's the better barber.
Yeah, I can attest to you and to everyone listening. Yeah, I can attest that he takes his time for sure.
Yeah.
There's times where it's scheduled for 20 minutes, and I know with you, when I book with you, it's quick.
Yeah.
Which is great. And I can ask, what I appreciate about you is, at least if I say like, hey, I'm really stressed about this, or I'm really thinking about this in this way, you can say, this is your face type, this is what I think. I know your hair for a long time, so we're going to take a little bit more time, but we're going to do it properly. So I know you can, but I appreciate you, and why I book with you sometimes is because I know it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas with Claudio, I love him. And there's times where he said, I'm working on something. And you could see it in his eyes that he's just so in the zone that, it's been times where it's like a 2020-minute appointment.
Yeah, and it takes him a lot longer. It is like that. But the funny thing is that if I ask him, how'd you do that? He can't tell you how he cuts hair. Like there's no system. He just cuts hair. You know what I mean? Like he just cuts it. And if you tell him do the same thing as last time, he doesn't even know what he did. He doesn't know where to start.
Yeah.
But the end result always looks good. You know what I mean? Like he just has that thing about him. It's just the way a lot of people say I'm a little rough with the comb and stuff. And I even feel it on when he does my hair, it's so gentle. Like he's just got that touch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Artist. Where did he pick that up from?
It's the way he's always been. Like it's just the way he is, my brother. He's very relaxed, calm. I'm a little more high strung, but my brother, he's a little more relaxed, more laid back. More like, careful, more what's the word? Like he's very, it's not perfectionist. I can't remember. Precise, yeah. Like he's very precise. But like he won't part hair. Like some things he does, just I can't understand how he does it. And then other things, it's like Like blow drying, he sucks. Like he's not a very good blow dryer for hair. You know what I mean? And then the other thing is like lately, little kids been coming in. They want like a zigzag or they want a like, lightning bolt on the side. And I know he can do it, but he doesn't want to do it. He keeps on asking me to do it, and I don't know why, but it boggles my mind. I tell him all the time, I go, you could do this. He's like, I just don't know. He goes, I don't want to do it.
Huh.
And I'm like, okay. So he'll call me over, and it's funny because it's like full circle. When I started, I'd be calling him over, and now he's calling me over to do these things. So it's funny, but together we work well.
I was gonna say, do you think that your business is so popular because you have a balance with him in the sense that he's taking his time, he's thinking about the art form, let's say, and you're thinking about the business because kind of need a CFO, a CEO, and a COO to do all that?
It's true. Yeah. I think it works well because
outside of you guys being great guys, obviously.
Well, we're great guys, but it's also we grew up from a family where we were really in a loving family, so we don't really argue much. Like we get into arguments at the shop, but 90% of the time, it has nothing to do with the money side or the business side. Or like we'll argue about, I want to move the desk. You know what I mean? And he'll be like, oh, why do you want to move the desk? And I'll be like, oh, I think it looks better there. And then it'll become like an argument where I don't think it's going to be a good idea. But it'll never be like an argument where we're going to hold a grudge. And the next day we go to work, it's like it didn't happen. And we have fun. We laugh a little bit, right? I mean, the thing is, starting with him at such a young age in my 20s and 30s, we kind of spent a lot of time together. And so it's like we see so much of each other at work that last year my mother said, how come you guys never get together? Right? She's like, you guys don't get together on the weekend. And I said to him, I see him every fucking day. Right?
You can swear.
Oh,
don't
I can?
worry. Yeah.
I see him every fucking day. I don't want to see him after work. You know, I don't want to see him again on the weekend. We spend like literally most of my day is with him. You know what I mean? That's why we don't hang out after work. You know what I mean? Like we're done. We're like, okay, that's it. Like we need our space apart. And my mother was laughing because she started thinking about it. She understood, right? And it's just funny because we talk every day. We talk even on Saturday and Sunday. I call him every day. But it's tough sometimes because he's had his issues and I've had my issues and sometimes they intertwine in the business and you have to try to level it out somewhere where we still can perform the business without getting those personal issues involved, right? It's never easy, especially with family, but we try our best, right?
Yeah, of course you try your best. Is that what you would say is like what it takes? Is that you have to try, you have to want to try for family because
100%.
How many families have been ruined, by
it's not easy working with family, but we like you said, we have our roles, and we try to stick with them, and we try to be fair and even, and we try to like work things out. It's tough at times, man. It is, but I look past it usually, right? I mean, and we started the business together when we weren't married, we were single, and then you have kids, you have families. There's a lot of things that get thrown into the mix, and sometimes you really gotta try to separate the personal stuff that comes along with it, even though it's hard, right? You have a wife, you have children, you have a family, and then you have this family. So like, you have to draw the line somewhere and say, okay, I got to keep this separate from that, because if they start getting together, it's going to be a mess, right? And that's been challenging in itself.